Hello, I'm Umbrenero and welcome back to Umbrenero's Life. Today's video is Working on an Art Collection Part 2. So, I am going to be showing off some of the behind the scenes of how I am working on a couple art collections. And this video and Part 3 are two collections that are siblings, I would say, because they have the same general theme and they use the same colors. The only difference is whether it's a white background or a black background for the acrylic pour. But this is where I decided to start. And yes, my camera was getting mad at me for doing this, but I try to reuse things that I have gotten over time. So drink carriers from restaurants, reusing those to hold up my canvases when I am doing acrylic pours is something that I have tried. I got to a certain point after this first canvas here where I realized, yep, this is not going to be a good thing to use here. So I swapped it with a little plastic box I've had. You gotta do what you gotta do. And yes, my camera was mad. It just did not want to focus for whatever reason. But this first one, it took a bit. And yes, I was trying to make sure that the entire surface of the top of it was covered. So yeah, it involves getting a little bit messy, but it is what it is. And I also decided underneath my canvases, I have a larger canvas to catch the paint drippings, so that way they're not fully going to waste. They have a place they're going. That was something I wanted to make sure I did. But this collection, this is the first part of it. There will be another part in part 4 and then part 6 of this series. So part 4 will be the second half of the paintings for this collection. And then part 6 will be like the final touches and stuff like that. But this was the first one. All of these end up coming out so unique and just different. And this half of this collection is basically looking at the chaos that happens in the light, and it just felt right. It's the best way I can describe it. It's just something that you can feel the warmth of the light and all of that, but you know there's still a chaos brewing and within. So, went on, got to the second one, poured out my base white, which I have learned I need more because I almost did not have enough for this. And now for the next yellow. So, there's 3 different shades of yellow that I decided to use for this because I felt that it would just give me a nice variation. And they are dried as of the editing of this, and they do look different. So the first one was like a lemon yellow. This one is a medium yellow. And the final one, it's a plain old yellow. But even being similar colors, they still did different things art-wise. Because really, trying to get acrylic pours to do the exact same thing multiple times in a row, that is very hard. Like, I have never been able to do that myself. But again, camera wanted to be stubborn. I did catch it. I'm like, hey, hello, are you paying attention? There we go. But yeah, so this was the second one, and I did scrape off the bottom of my canvases after I was done with each one because I was trying to make sure it wouldn't stick to the surface I was using for them to dry on. But this is where I realized, okay, this cup holder is not going to work like I had hoped. So I was actually looking around my office trying to find something that was tall enough, and I found a little box. Little plastic box, just big enough that my canvas will not be sitting on the drip canvas, as I'll call it. And I'm like, alright, this should work. So I'm like, alright, this is what we're gonna use. There's enough gap underneath. And it's like, alright, let's keep going. Some more of my base color, and then we moved on to, I think this was the regular yellow at this point. Yes, regular yellow. And just going through, like, I was trying to make sure I got the corners, all of that. But having the canvas underneath, it just helped catch that little bit that just wasn't going to be on this canvas in the end. And yes, some of the corners needed a tiny bit of help. And yeah, I did have to shake it a few times to try to get the paint to flow in the spots that were still dry on the top. Yeah. I did find a speck in there, so I had to take care of it. I didn't want to leave it in. Didn't seem right. But we kept on going until I got most of the dry spots on the top all gone. Because while I was doing this, I was thinking, how am I going to do the edge of these paintings? And I actually came up with what I was going to do while I was going through here. And I'm like, I could take the main color that I used and paint that on the edge. So just have the edge be that color. And I just thought, you know, this could be a good idea. So I went through, scraped off the drips, because there were some, and brought it over to the place for it to dry. But the big canvas underneath, you can see the chaos that has been happening throughout here. And when I do the second half of this collection, there's going to be even more chaos on that canvas. So we're up to our third one, and this one is going to be an orange color. And here is where I was starting to notice I was actually running out of my white paint for acrylic pour. So it's like, oh, I might need to get a little bit more here, or hopefully I have enough, and I managed it. I don't know how, but I managed it. But next color we did was this very, very vibrant orange. So I'm like, all right, let's go get that corner very quickly and start just going around. And just the way that these have turned out, it's really neat. Especially when you think about what their names are gonna mean. Because I do have them semi-named. I have an idea of what I'm naming them all. But I'm not gonna say what their names are officially. Because I just don't feel like it. But no, this orange one, it ended up looking pretty good. So, quick scrape of the edges here. And then it was setting it aside. And yes, I did have to go actually make more space for this to get put down. Because when I'm doing my acrylic pours, it gets very messy, and I do not want to get certain areas dirty with paint. Like, my hands are one thing. Depending what clothes I'm wearing, that's another thing. If it's something I don't mind getting slightly dirty paint-wise, it'll happen. So I was quickly making a spot to set this canvas and the fifth one for this Chaos in the Light set. Well, part of this Chaos in the Light collection. So, time for the last one, and this one I did a peachy pink color, and I did run out of my white acrylic here, and it's like, okay, I don't have enough for this, I need to make more. Well, I didn't make more right away. I'm like, alright, we're just gonna hurry up, pour the pink on. Different pattern, see if it'd be enough. I'm looking, I'm like, this is really dry compared to the other ones I have done. So let's start the corners, see how those will flow, and go from there. It's like, yep, nope, I need more white. I had extra white. That's like, alright, we're using this because I will be needing it. Dumped it in the spots that needed it the most, and we kept on going. Because you can't always just go with the first plan. Sometimes you need to come up with that backup. Especially when things aren't going the way you thought. But the way I ended up pouring this, and then all of the moving, it did end up giving it a very unique pattern, which is one of the reasons why I like doing the acrylic pours. But this collection will be continued, well, the light in the Chaos collection will be continued in part 4. Chaos in the Dark. Yeah, Chaos in the Light, Chaos in the Dark. Chaos in the Dark will be shown off in part 3. So, you'll get to see the difference between these two sibling collections, as I am calling them, here pretty soon in part 3. So, thanks for watching, and if you could like and subscribe, it would be greatly appreciated. Again, thank you for watching, and until next time, I am Umbrenero. Bye!